All right, everybody, please go ahead and get your drinks and your snacks ready. It's time for It's Drunken Chat, son. Let's go.
For each man in his time is pain until he walks along the deep and sees his future in the water. Along life's arc within his reach. I haven't needed a one.
Sometimes men take matters into their own hands. You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
As you guys know, it is Drunken Chat, son.
I tell you what, welcome to It's Drunken Chat, son. I am your host, Chef and Mater D, Chitlins, Greens, and Cornbread. And I'm gonna tell you what, if you're gonna do a show that's focused on you freaking drinking, you might want to freaking open the bottles first, man, because I am having a bitch of a time opening this doggone bottle. This is the new drop in the ABCs here. It's called Buffalo Trace. This Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey bottle is beautiful. My unsober ass is just not us having time. But here we go. Here we go. Yeah. We got it now. Here we go. Yeah, we go. Got it open. I just got to mix it with a little something, something. But yeah, here we go. Here we go. Thank you for everybody for joining in with us. Thank you to Brian and Top 10. Did a really another uh, great list this week. But I want to thank you guys most of all for joining in with us. GT Key, Comic Repair, Tech Tony, Darren Baptiste, Pops Cops 82, Creed, Raymond Camacho, Edwin Aguilar, AOA, Danger Room Comics, what's up, brother? Nero Valen and Flame Brain Comics. Thanks for dropping in early. We are already starting with 70 people. Thank you to all and everything. Look, so we got a bunch of stuff to get to um, this week. We had what second week of Edge of Spider Verse. We also had Transformers stuff that we got to talk about, and just a couple of other things to talk about. But the main thing we always start off with was, hey, we got to give our flowers to those of us from our childhood. This was one of those heels, right? That WWF heels from my childhood from back in the day. The Iron Shake, man, freaking, he passed away born 1942 to 2023. That's just one of those great freaking guys, man. Just like when you think about it, man, if it wasn't for like the heels and how important the heels were, I don't think it would have stuck out, or the WWF would have stuck out in between like this guy, Ted DiBiase, the big boss man, and all those other stuff. Freaking just these guys that were important and made the good guys stand out that even that more, man. So if you guys have your heel, you guys want to shout them out in freaking comments, man, you can just go ahead and freaking shout them out. So B Green was saying that he's going to be around in a little bit too, but he just needs to restart his computer. Ain't that always the way, brother? You need to restart your computer, or you need to restart that flame. That's what I'm thinking. So let me go ahead and give this a little smell test for this Kentucky bourbon. No, it doesn't smell that bad. I can definitely smell the sugars coming off it. Definitely seems really processed. Oh, that's liquor. Ooh, that's liquor. Oh yeah, I'm gonna need to cut it with a little salt. Oh man, I was not prepared to be drunk starting off the show, so I'm gonna have to cut it with a little something. Oh, so Awesome Sauce Radio is calling it Macho Man Randy Savage. Ooh yeah. That was another good one as well. I think some people might call out Lex Luthor as well. Um, Puss. Who is that supposed to be? Puss. I don't know. But there was also a lot of heels, villains that were out there that eventually turned good guys. So that was another aspect of WWF that was awesome as well. That showed you, hey, no matter how bad you started off, you could actually eventually turn good. Then there was those old boring storylines where the good guy all of a sudden turns bad. Like Hulk Hogan was like, yeah, okay, you put on a black shirt. That's your whole thing. No, I'm not buying it. Hey, what's going on? Freaking Astro Wizard, freaking nice to freaking see y'all. Freaking thanks for stopping by. Right now I'm starting off by myself, but eventually the rest of the crew will be on in a little bit. Uh, Ooh, that's another good one. John Longshot 68 is calling out Rowdy freaking Piper. Um, Look, the the four horsemen, man, the four freaking horsemen. I would have to freaking research. Um, let's see who else was a part of the four horsemen, because that was, let's see, four horsemen. Roddy, yeah, Roddy was not a part of that. Yeah, for some reason I remember Roddy Piper having. I remember the movie that Roddy Piper used to had. Um, I think it was like, I think the vibe was Obey, but I forget what the actual movie was called. The Four Horsemen: Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, Ole Anderson, and Tully Blanchard. I love the old vids when Hills grabbed the mic from Mean Gene and yelled to the camera, "Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, Mean Gene. When I get to ring with so and so, it's gonna be over. Cap, no cap. Like, what? Like, oh man, calm down. Like, why are you sweating? You haven't even started wrestling yet. Fucking oily ass fucking dude in freaking taste. That was just weird. You know. Um, Baby Doll, Starcade. I remember Ricky the Steamboat Dragon. Y'all remember him? Yep. Fully Born 21's calling out They Live. That was the Roddy Piper Rican movie. Are you drinking? Awesome Radio is asking me if I'm drinking that whiskey straight from the bottle. Kind of. Actually, you know what? I didn't. Let me make sure I get the this link to Blind Adam. I always forget. Oh, let's see. Daniel says I came here to buy bubble. Kick ass. I'm all out of bubble gum. All right, but all right. So I just also want to remind everybody that tomorrow, this is Saturday night, right around 10 o'clock. Um, there Mighty Melby will be hosting the Hell May We Help You sale. They're going to turn from once a month to twice a month right now. That's where Mel and the rest of the crew, Ninth, I believe, and I'm not sure who else is freaking joining in. We're going to get together, put up some of the freaking books, and just sell them. Right? It's a counter intuitive to what's going on and whatnot, and what's going on eBay, because what we bring it in, if we can get to keep that, grip, right? Um, so definitely if we can stop by. I think I've already put the link up somewhere, so the link is already up on the Mighty Melvie show. It's always also going to be on the Comic Crusaders channel as well. Um, See, John Launch 68 is calling out Big John Studd. Yep, that's another one. See, just trying to freaking find Blind Adams. There we go. Now, Adam, while you're out there, just the link is on its way. Just go ahead and click the link. You should be able to get in there. All right. Just as a reminder, the we got several channels that you guys might need to freaking pay attention to as we start to kind of expand our operations. You know, whatnot. Comic Crusaders does have whatnot show. We do have a YouTube show, um, and there is a TikTok, but you know it's not as lively as we want. But definitely hit that and let me know which one you guys want to see on there. Um, as far as Wall Street, I didn't really pay attention to Wall Street. There was one thing. It was one big thing that really people really cared about. Don't listen. The numbers on here are not even accurate right now, but there was one thing that people really cared about, and that was the Apple News. Um, it was that Apple XP Pro weird freaking goggles thing that they have that's not coming out this year. And it's not even, it's maybe coming out maybe in 2024 through 2025. And it's going to cost like 3,500 bucks, right? So plus tax is going to cost you like around four G's probably. Um, nothing, nothing game nothing game changer at all. Still got the headbands. Still got to do a whole bunch of adjusting and all that stuff, which is exactly the opposite of what the people wanted from the whole experience. So I just don't see anything changes unless they start talking about the actual content that's going to be available through the Apple Store. Nothing's really changing right there. Um, Now the rumor out there also right now is let's see. Hold on. Philip Warren is talking about the Heart Foundation. Yep, yep. Um, and can't spell good. Is talking about the Vision Pro. Yeah, the Vision Pro at 3,500. So you always know how Apple does it, right? They always have the minimum, right? Minimum price joint, which will probably be the Vision Pro, whatever, at 3,500. And then there's gonna be like the Vision Max, which is gonna have all the other stuff that everybody's gonna freaking need. Um, So that's going to be freaking crazy. You're going to have people basically broke because they got to get this new thing. Uh, Shoot, drain your wallet, not your penis. Well, Cardi West, I'll tell you this. I've always said this. One of the indicators of how important a technology is going to be is how can it connect me to either watch porn or how can it connect you to get laid, right? And until Apple can connect that and make clear how that's connected, it may not last, right? Because Oculus, that stuff was out there, but they still haven't really made that connection yet because there's just not enough content out there right now. The big thing, well, it's not a big thing. The rumor out there right now is that there's a Legend of Zelda movie. It's currently in the works. Um, and I wouldn't say it's necessarily in the works. What I would say is that they're negotiating how that's going to go down, who's going to work it, who's going to be a part of it, how much money do they want to wanted to be a part of it, and that's because after the Mario Brothers movie success, and then you just had a Legends of Zelda movie Switch being dropped that was amazing. They just sold out from the drop. You can say all you want about the other or all you want about the other games that people want. This one, Legend of Zelda, is one that people really wanted, and went crazy for right off the freaking drop. So, hey, you got to go for Legends of Zelda and see what's going to go on. Um, Cardi West is saying the I poo for added for 400. Not sure what that means. That sounds like that's actually something. I wouldn't be surprised if that's an actual freaking toy or something like that. All right, so Legends of excuse me, the Spider-Man, right? The Cross the Spider-Verse came out June 2nd. Let's see how that did because when I last dropped off, I think it was at 25 million. It was uh it was hedged to do really good. I liked it. I don't think anybody else had saw it yet. I think Aaron had maybe oh no, yeah. Aaron yeah, Aaron Yee, he had just came from seeing it. Um let's see where are we at right now. Because I know the other rumors that they were thinking about was like, okay, well let's do live action right now. Okay, so and that's I'll talk about that after this. Okay, so currently, all right, who just dropped in? There he is,
Well, well,
the,
well.
the main chef himself, the main chef of all the type of corn you could ever want,
The inner there
regardless
version.
regardless
Blind
of you want
Adam,
to put the
Awesome
corn.
Sauce Radio. What's up, Lucas?
What's going on, brother, man? Well, let me ask you this: like, have you gotten a chance to watch any of the recent movies that have been coming out, like right in the flurry yet, or are you still waiting?
I say I've seen Across the Spider Verse twice.
Really? Okay. Wow. And what did you think?
I actually thought it's my favorite movie of the year, not just as a comic book movie, but also as an animated movie.
Wow, that's saying something, right? Um, what did you think of the dialogue that they were talking to? Did that hit you at all, or are we just still thinking like, man, that was a pretty good? Because I understand where people are coming from as far as the animation standpoint, because every
I also
single
really liked the coming of age story they're telling with Gwen and Miles.
okay, so you like the love connection
And
thing that they're
it's
kind
not
of
just the
doing,
love, but it's like two young people coming into their own, um, and figuring out that they can forge their own path and not have to listen to everyone around them sometimes.
mm. Okay, so do you think, because like, look, a lot of comic book speculators are still putting a lot of money into Gwen. We're still putting a lot of money into Miles right now with the 9.8 Dirge rate currently going for like 30,000
Hot damn.
right now. Um, I forget how much the Gwen is going. That's probably going for like 5 or 6 or something like that right now. Do you think that we should still be putting money into that, or do you think this is where everything kind of caps right now?
I actually think it's still good investments. I mean, we still have one more animated movie, and there are rumors left and right about live action. Uh, as much as I think we should, fuck live action with both these characters.
Mm,
Uh, Sony's gonna do what Sony wants to do. Uh, Even though Sony doesn't have the greatest track record in live action, aka Morbius. Morbius sucked worse than Hooker in Times Square.
right. So so speaking of fucking stuff up, right? So um, here's the other movie that came out this week, right? Um,
Transformers. Morbius meets
Transformers,
the eyes.
right? Battle Beast, right?
Yep.
Or Beast of War, or whatever you want, or whatever it was called. Um, it was amazing, right? It freaking kind of wiped out all the bad, stupid stuff that's been happening, and it made all the
I have the bad taste, the bad jizz taste out of my mouth from Michael Bay.
right. So here's what it does. It makes those other movies just seem like an introduction, right? It makes it feel like those were just an introduction to this, which is the actual story. Okay. So that being said, I think there is some merit into going back into this franchise, looking at our books, looking at our toys that we have for Transformers, and saying, okay, now that Paramount has their shit together, now we can start to enjoy it because they, the, it wasn't just a freaking hey, here's Transformers, and this is not a big spoiler because it's all over the place already. They're trying to introduce the GI Joe franchise as well, which is a part of the whole Paramount. So there were several Easter eggs in there that points to them, trying to combine somehow all a a lot of their Paramount franchises into this whole big soup. Um, so just stand by on that one.
Uh,
Um,
hasn't Paramount always wanted a Hasbro universe on the big screen, anyways?
yes, yes, they have, but it's so difficult right now because look,
Well, you had
it's
five between GI Joe and Transformers. You had five turds in the punch bowl.
right.
Those GI Joe movies were a fucking abortion. They sucked. Sucked.
Right, which is what goes along with any type of franchise. Anytime you try and mix stuff that doesn't have a common
Yeah,
story.
but GI Joe fucked up twice in a row.
Yeah. So there he is. There is the master of uh, smoke.
Smoke champagne.
MC Smoke.
Hey, it's got to
Smoke,
be our
King
brother
Smoke.
Big Remo. Would be up, brother.
what's happening, fellas?
Oh, what's happening with you, man? Freaking
Smoke dog.
every time I see photos for this mother, it's just
You know,
this dude is like the master planner. You know, just
all right, all right.
trees.
I'm good right now.
So tell me, have you and family watched any?
Yes,
What have you guys seen
the
so
whole
far?
thing. We saw it. We went and saw it last. We saw it Sunday.
Which one, Spider Verse or Transformers?
Across the Spider Verse.
Okay, Cross the Spider Verse. And what did you think about Cross the Spider Verse so far?
I mean, I thought it was amazing, man. I mean, the family definitely came out of there excited. You know, it lived up to their expectation and exceeded it. You know, I definitely don't want to spoil it, but it was definitely. I mean, it left you wanting more. You know what I mean? It was like it was a definitely. I want to go see it again.
Yeah. See, the thing is about spoilers is we're past a week right now.
Right.
We're over a week, yeah. Right?
No,
So
I
I
got
mean,
it.
we're not gonna go total crazy and freaking spoil
No,
stuff, but I
no,
think
no.
there's certain elements that we can definitely talk about by now.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I definitely want. I mean, the first weekend, I don't want to hear spoilers, but after a week or so, I'm kind of like, well, if you haven't seen it by then I mean, the world's
I'm
not.
kind of at the light spoiler stage, just because sometimes it does take people like a week, maybe a
Yeah,
week and a half before they get to the theater.
Man, y'all better get in
but
on
I
that.
mean, you can't. The world can't stop because you haven't seen the
Yeah,
movies.
after 2 weeks, 2 weeks is my go fuck yourself
Yeah,
phase.
yeah,
After
yeah.
2 weeks, everything gets spoiled.
Yeah, it's fair. It's fair game at that point.
Yeah.
I mean,
How about this? We are going to go ahead and freaking knock out talking about, and we'll talk about some of the spoilers for the next 10 minutes. We will cut it off at the 30 minute mark, and
yeah, if
then
you
we'll
guys,
yeah. So y'all
you
can
don't
go
want,
ahead and
if
freaking
you've
jump
already
on,
seen it, if you want to jump out of the chat right quick,
and then come back at the 30 after the 30 minute mark, and
Either that,
we'll
or listen to every other third word and go on eBay and scoop up cheap books. One of the
yeah,
two.
because here's the tough part about it is like you could just look at this poster and you can kind of get a vibe of what's going on, right? Like there's no spoiling and knowing that there's a whole bunch of freaking characters and the what's I mean if you and especially if you know Miles already and
I
what's
mean,
going
there's
on with
no spoil in the movie.
yeah
You have to see the movie in order to get spoiled. You know what I mean?
it was more of a vibe that carries on that was different from the comics. I think that's more fair. Um,
But I mean, as
or
far as like the characters being who they are or showing you what they will be, that definitely allowed you, you know, from a speculation standpoint, to choose your hero. You know what I mean? Like who
yeah,
you want to spec on or who you want to follow going forward. You can pick somebody.
right.
And you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like you don't have to be like, oh, I gotta be this person only, and I gotta only find these books. Like now you got kind of got some options. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And there's history to them, so it's like you can actually go and seek those books and make them good.
I don't know. Unfortunately, my favorite character didn't even get wasn't even in the movie to the very end, and he didn't even have any freaking speaking lines.
Who's
who's
that?
that?
Spider Ham.
You know what? I didn't even see him. I
He's in the
honestly,
very end. He's in the end when they show when Gwen introduces her new band and everyone is together that she gathered.
Okay.
I didn't even peep that. The one who actually stood out for me that I thought was kind of cool was Lego Spider Man.
That was awesome.
You know what I mean? I was like, he played
Oh
a
man.
lightweight little key part in the whole movie. I was just like, that's dope that they even made that part of it.
So that's kind of a crazy shout out, guys.
Because
Spider Ham
the
is
writers
yeah
actually did the Lego movie.
yeah. Spider Ham is his first appearance hasn't been going crazy, even though kids have been reliably going at liking his character.
Yeah,
The Spider Man Lego joint. That's the one that the kids definitely like. Kids like my kid who is like
yeah,
9, they definitely like and they definitely relate with what's going on with his stuff. They're all over the Lego stuff.
yeah.
And there is a Spider-Man Lego comic one shot that's out there. Yet nobody's been paying attention to that. Instead, our us older guys, we've been paying attention to Spider-Man India, Spider-Man Punk, guys like that. Um, Spider-Man 2099. We've been paying attention to that shit. But the one that kids will actually want to see and tack into years from now, 10 to 20 years from now, when my kid is growing up, we haven't been paying attention to that stuff. So I think that's kind of interesting.
So here's my thing. I thought the one who stole the show was Spider Man India. So to me though, I didn't. I've never read his books, but that's not the same Spider Man India that is the book that everybody's specking on, though. Correct? Those are
Yeah, it
two
is.
different.
Pravata Potterish, it is
Yep.
same guy.
That's
Same
him in
name.
the same Spider Man India where he's they got him on some.
Yeah.
Yep.
So one other thing to remember is that none of these characters are the same ones, right? They don't have the same history,
Well,
therefore
that's what I
they're
mean.
not necessarily the same character.
It's a different iteration of that character.
Yes.
And
Hmm.
that's what I'm saying. The way they had him on the cartoon wasn't the one that's in the comic book.
Yes. Hmm.
That's what I was trying to say. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's where they're gonna mess up. Well, not mess up, but the kids are gonna want to see the version that was in the cartoon. So if they go
Yes.
rush out to grab the comic books now, if it's a truly for the kid is going to be disappointed when they find that the book isn't the book that they're looking for.
Well, we got to see because remember the Spider-Man India comes out this week, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is this
So
the
I don't know.
Spider-Man India that
So
was in the cartoon?
right. Well, so that's where I think I'm getting mixed up because there's the original Spider-Man India, right? That
Right.
came out years ago.
That's
Then
the one.
there's the one that they're pushing that's coming out this week. The one that they're
I
pushing
actually
out,
think the one in the cartoon is a little hodgepodge of the two of them.
And that's what I'm thinking, and that's where they're going to mess up because they don't have that character who they probably didn't think would actually do as good as he did. When I think personally he stole the show, but like his whole story was the whole part of the it was the crux of the movie. You know what I mean? It was his story is what was the chain. You know what I'm saying? That was
yeah.
the part that you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So he played a big part, and his story is now changed, obviously. So that is in itself a whole storyline. You know what I mean that he could play out. So the character has a lot of legs. I think that if they play it right, then he could actually
Right.
be something.
Well, let me ask you this because a couple of other old heads they're kind of pissed off about the whole Spider Woman character. The fact that
Jesus fucking Christ.
the fact that she's black. What do you guys think of that?
Can we just shut the fuck up and not care for once?
It could have been any of
please,
them.
can we just all enjoy a fucking movie?
Everybody was different. Like you just said, they weren't the same. It's whatever character they are, that's not who they were there.
Yeah.
You know what I
Um,
mean?
so there was a quick little line where Spider Gwen says, "Hey, have you ever had somebody that you trusted and they kind of messed up?" And she goes, "Yeah, I trusted them and I trusted them too much." Something it was like a quick throwaway line like that. If you go into the storyline for Spider Woman this past year, she's had several family members that were actually messing around and fucked up. Like her mom fucked up, her dad fucked up. She's got this niece who's handicapped, but now she has spider powers. So it's kind of I wish people would give more support to that Spider Woman character, so we can actually go into her story. Yeah, that would be amazing. But
But what,
Unfortunately, we're not.
the Spider
Only,
Woman that was in the cartoon, in the movie, was not the same character iteration from the comics, though.
yeah.
I think they hodgepodged a bunch of stuff together from
But see,
various
that's what I'm
Spider-Man
saying. Like,
stories over the years.
that's the part where Marvel's gonna have to. I don't know
Yeah.
if it was part of their plan, but they need to have those characters in comic. That's the only way they're gonna grab the people from the movie. Because there's
Right.
people who've seen it and never seen this character before, or were like, "Oh, I didn't know that that's who Spider Woman was, or even looked like." And then they're gonna go into the store and be like, "Okay, well, let me buy this trade, or let me start buying the issues," and they're gonna be like, "Oh, this isn't what I saw in the movie."
Right.
You know what
Because
I mean?
there have been a lot of websites that have been pulling out the fact that the first Spider Woman was black. They've been
Right.
going down that route. Like, hey, because while everybody's complaining, oh man, well, they changed the color. No, motherfucker, the first one that was out there was, I forget what her name was. It wasn't Jessica Drew or anything like that, but she was
No.
black. She was a librarian. She actually stole fucking Spidey's fucking costume, and she was out there running the streets, fucking just doing random shit.
Right. I
But
remember the life.
yeah, yeah, she was supposed to be based off the electric company freaking
Yeah, the
character and all
electric
that.
company. I was gonna
Yeah.
say, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, I mean, but that's other thing. So in the chat, if you guys want to shout out your favorite character that you actually saw in there, go ahead and shout that out. Or if there's a character that you didn't necessarily see up front that you want to see in the upcoming iterations, because I think this is supposed to be a trilogy. The Cross Spider Verse is supposed to be a trilogy, I believe.
I
Um,
would, if it is, I wouldn't be mad at it.
No,
They just
actually, Beyond the Spider Verse is next March.
they just can't take 5 years in between movies.
No, it's already in the can. It comes out next March.
Oh, okay, because that's what I was saying.
Till March though. Yeah. Nah, man. So look, they need to push it back to the freaking summertime, or give it to us during Christmas time, right?
Yeah,
Something that the family could watch. What happened to Thanksgiving time, right? That way we
yeah,
could go
yeah.
there, and then you could also go see it with your family during Christmas or
Or
Thanksgiving.
Easter at least.
Yes, exactly. Put it out during the family times. That way you got something to go take. Not none of this. I'm gonna put it out at freaking random times and like, oh,
Summertime
so I could claim that it's the record breaking bullshit. No,
up against
yeah,
Transformers.
blockbusters are supposed. Remember blockbusters, summer blockbusters that used to be a big thing to shoot for. So they've proven right now that that's the formula. Marvel has gotten back to this with this. The other, in fact, let's cut over to the next one that I want to talk about. I don't have the slide with. Actually, I can pull it up right here. Is Transformers, right? So
Never meets the end.
yeah, so Across the Spider Verse and made 16.5 million this week, bringing it to 58 million, which is alarming because last week it made 25 million. I mean, it's slowed way the heck down. Um,
Well, but I mean, it's animated, so I don't expect like the average person to just go and see it. It wasn't. This isn't something like a Mario Brothers where you have a lot of people that guys and girls, women and men who grew up playing the game, so
mhm.
they at least have some familiarity with the character. So if their kid is into it, they can be into it. This is a little different. You know what I mean? This is a whole character where everybody doesn't even know Miles is really, you know what I mean? Like his backstory. Like, so you're dealing with that element. So the fact that it's getting that amount of money, they should be happy. That's a win. You know what I'm saying? Like, this
Especially
isn't.
with the track record of Transformers live action movies, where all the other ones were Michael Bay, Explosion,
Yeah,
Kitties, uh, Megatron, Optimus Prime, Explosions, Kitties,
yeah.
fuck you, Michael Bay.
But even Miles Morales though, it being a cartoon is like that's a win. $58 million. Like what?
Yeah. So let's see. What did Transformers Rise of the Beast did? Transformers Rise of the Beast actually did 25 million, which is pretty damn good, right? Um, going against Across the Spider Verse, right? Which people are already saying we might need to think about Across the Spider Verse possibly winning an Oscar. Um,
Yeah.
And it would
so
be the only comic book and animated movie to repeat in that department.
yeah, so 78 points of articulation is saying across the international box office, it's actually pulling in 250 million. Um, and I would have to look at the numbers. But again, I am the king of naps. All right. Um, I am King Kong. I am King Kong, King of Naps on God.
uh,
So I didn't get around to do research on everything that I wanted to research. Um, but what I always look at when I start to pull out the international box office numbers is where were we when it came to China, right? Because I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that was the main aim of having it come out during the summertime is making sure that it was able to get into China and accepted by China. The most interesting thing, and we can go back to Across the Spider Verse real quick, is I'm thinking about it. Okay, we had a Spider-Man India character, but we didn't necessarily have a Spider-Man Asia or anything like that. We didn't have Silk character, right? We didn't have anything that appealed to any of the Southeast Asian countries. We just went with Spider-Man India, which kind of makes, which is okay, right? Because what are they at? They're like 1.7 billion people at right now, as far as their freaking population.
Something like that.
I
Give or
mean,
take.
I just know that if they want to make some bread, they better have that book in print for people to be able to buy it. You know what I mean? People who identify with that. If they want to make some money, they need to have that shit available to purchase.
So
Yeah, but
that is the
excuse me,
problem.
Rima. Marvel has been bad about that type of stuff for the last 15 years, even going back to Iron Man.
I mean, it's
When
just a
the first
ball
Iron
drop.
Man came out, there was nothing on the shelves that
Yeah,
resembled what you saw in the movie. So that's
yeah,
why I'm not surprised.
that's terrible. Like because he was a good character from what I saw. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
he
yeah. I mean,
he,
so
he, he was
I
definitely
get what you're saying, but unfortunately, I don't think. I still think that corporate tries to keep some of their comics and the multimedia shit a little separate at times.
that's
And I
crazy.
think it hurts them in the long run for building long term fans who are going into these movies, falling in love with the stuff. And there's no way to continue to develop a long term relationship with the characters and the product.
And like even like the storyline was a little, it was a little different than the kind of like the narrative was totally different than the first book or first movie. Like I feel like they kind of tried to slip some things in there and change some things up and think people didn't pay attention or didn't notice.
Hmm.
And I think because I always knew Miles to be biracial, like he was, you know what I'm saying. His dad was black and his mom was Puerto Rican, or
Yeah, people were making a big deal about that. Like, well, if his dad is Parker or Davis, like, why is he named Morales and all this other stuff? I'm
But
like,
then
man, get the fuck
but
out of
then the
here.
police officer on there was right. They were both Latin. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Of Afro Latino uh, descent. You know what I'm saying? So it was just kind of weird how they did that, and it was just kind of like, why was that a big deal? Like, you know what I mean? But it was more so like they did that, and then they like doubled down on it throughout the. It was the narrative through the movie almost. You know what I mean? Like.
yeah.
Whereas in the first one, it was kind of subtle, like it was not really like made a big deal. It just was what it was. And then they kind of made almost like an extra effort to change that, and then not say anything like you wouldn't notice. You know what I mean? Like just kind of like it was just kind of odd to me. Like I was just like, well, why?
Well, let me, yeah, let's get into that. And before I do, let me get into my drunk stage because I decided to try this old smoky Tennessee moonshine, but with the cherries in it. This is the first time I'm trying this.
Don't even use a glass. Come on, don't even use a glass. From the bottom, from the
Straight
Straight,
from
bottom.
the
straight
jar,
out
baby.
the jug.
Straight out
Jug,
the
You're supposed
jug.
to throw that on the side of your arm and lift it in.
jar. Oh, while I'm playing a banjo.
Yeah, you know.
um, yeah. So let's get into the history. Well, his contextual history for Miles Morales, because what actually is supposed to happen with Miles is that his mom dies. Right. He then goes into the 616, right,
Right,
and he stays there so he could stay with his mom who's alive, right. Um, of course, the one that was in the 616 was bad. He goes off to another universe, but then eventually he comes back, and this is when in the comics now.
yeah, 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 right,
Whereas
Yep.
here in the freaking this thing, they don't really define which universe is what, whatever. But all we know is that there's a big mix up inside the big universes and everything.
right.
And we're not going to go into that big mix up because that would be a major spoiler. But that is a major plot point, is the fact that the different Miles is switched back or switching back and forth, and the one that they eventually settle on is not the same one.
Yeah, right, exactly. But even that part of it is kind of what they're alluding to in this movie.
Yeah, exactly. So, and there's so many different freaking concepts that are going to be interesting, right? Um, there's that concept of a where you're settled at is not where you're at. Um, the bigger concept is from the first movie, right? So you had the big bad was
Kingpin.
big Kingpin, right? And he was willing to destroy the whole freaking universe just to back his family, bring back his wife and his freaking kid. Didn't
Mm,
care, right?
yeah,
And there's that big adage of, or it's a philosophical question is, if you're driving a train and there's two tracks, right? On one track there's like this one person, and then the other track there's a whole bunch of people. Which track do you freaking go? Right? You can't freaking stop it in time. Which one do you go? Do you just go ahead and freaking kill the one person, or do you go ahead and plow into the other people?
right,
Right. Of course, the quick answer is, well, I'm gonna just go ahead and plow into the one person, right? Um, but then the other question is, well, what if that person is really important, right? What if that person is your mom and dad or somebody that you know? Do you still
mhm,
plow into that kill that one person to save all those other people, or do you say, fuck it, I don't want to kill my mom's or my kid, right? So that's one of those philosophical questions. That would be so. The switch is, in the first movie, Kingpin is willing to kill the whole universe and kill all those other universes
right.
to bring back bring it back. But in the second one, the
That beef was with Peter. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, it was not necessarily directed at Peter. It
No, but
was
what I'm
directed.
saying is that was the plot point for Peter in that movie
Yes.
because it was almost Miles is what they say is, you know what I'm saying, in the movie what they kind of explain him to be, but he seems to be the one who I see is going through the dimensions and fixing those events.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So he's done it twice already,
Yeah.
and it affected different people different ways. So now he's just gonna kind of be jumping around doing that same thing.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And I think that's gonna be how Gwen's gonna track him, is because she's gonna be the one who's gonna be like on his heels. You know what I mean? Because now they're all looking for him.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like they,
Which is crazy because they're actually supposed to be looking for Dot, right?
yeah,
They're
that's what
looking
I'm
for him.
saying. Like he's not the anomaly, he is, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
he kind of changed it because
Right.
he wanted.
But that becomes the question, right? Miles, he knows the deal. He knows the story. He knows that if he changes that canon event, he's going to destroy the universe and the other universes, and the thing is just going
Right.
to keep happening, right?
Yeah.
So now he's in the kingpin's position,
Hmm.
right? So he's got to decide: is he willing to kill the rest of the other universes just to save his dad, or is it going to be able? Going to have
Well,
enough
it's only in that so far. It's only there.
Yeah, but
in
I
that one
think
universe?
towards the
Yes.
end of the movie, Gwen kind of proved that that theory may be wrong
No, she doesn't
No,
because
because
yeah,
when her dad quit being the police force,
that was
no,
a
that, that
that
proves
Pierre
that proves
Canada,
no that pro,
Pierre
no that
Canada
proves it.
that.
No,
that
that
yeah,
proves it. That proves
exactly.
it. That
Yeah,
proves it. Right? Because by not becoming captain, he doesn't he doesn't kill that universe. I mean,
yeah. He doesn't
he
get
doesn't die.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's why. So
Miles' dad wasn't sworn in yet, or whatever. He's not at that point. But where he goes, where he's from, he did.
mhm. So 78 parts of articulation says the brilliant move in this movie was making Miles a unique anomaly. A one of one mistake, he's now going back to break the webs of fate and
Exactly.
make his own path. So the difficulty in this one is now we got to start thinking of what the other stuff that they're trying to bring into the universe. They're going to try and bring Madam Web aboard at some point, um, which is supposed to be a big thing because Miles. So some of these spider people, they got roles, right? They've got I forget what the name of Miles's role is. It's like the that's the widow spinner or something like that. But Silk, she's supposed to be the bride. Somebody else is supposed to be the spintress. And Nancy is supposed to be something else. And they're supposed to be battling like the Morlands, right? The Morlands is like the vampires that kill all the or feed on the spiders and stuff.
Pause. So did they make Miguel O'Hare one of them? Because I never really read.
So yeah, so they do develop and pull out the fact that he is a vampire. Well, he's not necessarily. They don't say he's a vampire.
They
They
say he's
say they pull out the fact that he's got fangs and claws and everything in this one.
right.
What's interesting is that in the beginning it was
He was
very
about to
quick.
bite that. He was about to bite that dude though.
Yeah. So in a quick, he doesn't call himself Miguel O'Hara. He calls himself Miguel Guerra, which in Spanish means Miguel of War.
Hmm.
So I don't know if that's the same dude that we see back at the crib at the headquarters or what.
Or if
It
that
was
was some,
very quick.
yeah.
It was very quick, and I was like, and I only caught that on like a second watching on these black sites. I mean, those,
Right.
those,
I'll have to go back because I didn't catch that part. I'll have to go
yeah, like
recheck it out.
It's
because
closed
there's the
captioning.
beginning is Miguel Guerra. Like what? What is he? Why is he saying Miguel Guerra? I was like, oh, I guess that's what he calls himself now. But then later on, he says, "My name is Miguel O'Hara." Like, huh? That's 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 different, right? Um, Comic Sneaker says, "Did you catch any of you catch what Spider-Man 2009 tried?" Yeah, that's what
That's what I'm
that's what
saying. He
that's
tried
what
to
dropped.
bite the dude. He tried to bite. It was a the dude, the bird,
Vulture.
Vulture.
vulture. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So what I'm wondering is are they going to try and switch that up to where Spider-Man 2009 Miguel O'Hara is possibly part of the Moreland posse?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like he's
Well, I've been buying those books for years now.
Yeah, is he part of the Morelands, right? They're called they're not called the incest
What the fuck did they call them?
inquisitors. I forget what they freaking call them, but it's like five people, to include the dad, the Moreland, the spinstress, and Anansi. Here's, it's a weird storyline that they keep trying to throw up at least once a year, and then they never finish the storyline. They're like, oh, okay, hey, by the way, there's these freaking vampires, and then they just drop the whole freaking thing with no resolution whatsoever. It's crazy. So that would be great if they actually brought that along because you got the thousands of those spider people back at the crib. It would be great if they just kind of started calling off the numbers by bringing in these
Hitting the herd
vampires.
and shit.
The Inheritors. There we go. DZ Comics Spec called it out. The Inheritors. I need to start making these crazy questions. I got a freaking kind of trivia question, man. Freaking. Unfortunately, I don't have access to the ability to make these trivia questions, but
You did hear, you did hear that they mentioned the Sinister.
You're right. You're right there, Rima.
Yeah,
them trees catch up to you. We're talking about Remo's not just catching that Canadian smoke. He's catching some other smoke. Is what's going on with it. um, Comic Sneaker says if that was to happen, if that was to be the inheritors, that would be a very nice setup. Here's where it gets really crazy, right? If you've been reading all the Spider books over the last year and a half or so, they're trying to develop not only the inheritors, but they're trying to develop these other totems to include the wasp family. The wasp, their thing is to kill off spiders as well. So if they were to bring those folks and combine them somehow, like, hey, let's fucking start killing off these people with vampires on one side and the inheritors on one side and the wasp on one side, man, now you got a freaking franchise that could go on forever and ever and ever and ever. I'm signing up for that.
and
Yeah,
that's the
goddamn
thing.
it, Disney Plus, you're gonna have my money.
Their Spider Verse is becoming the new Star Wars. Like they have a uh, new appearance every issue,
Hmm.
so they can't have like. I mean, not that they have to pick and choose, but like you gotta at least give the fans something. Because if you're gonna give that many characters, you can't expect people not to get like want those characters. You know what I mean? So if you don't have any interest of doing that, that's you can't screw the fans over like that.
Right. In fact, they just introduced another character. What, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago? It was 3 weeks ago, called the Spider Killer. Right.
Yep.
Um, 8 legs, just ugly, ugly ass dude, man. Freaking. People went crazy for that doggone thing, but they killed him off in the same issue. First appearance, last appearance, boom, right? But
Like
then
like a
he
Bruce
laid an, yeah, he laid an egg, and of course, in the eggs, there's like 100 freaking spiders, right? So,
100 of him.
well, probably, right? Because that's how many eggs are in a sack. So if you ever see a spider, or you just see a spider sack in your house, just know that's what was in there. It's 100 fucking spiders in there.
Hell no.
Yeah, yeah. People don't realize that. Like, oh, and like, oh,
Exactly.
I don't see 100 spiders. Oh no, there's 100 spiders in your house at minimum right now. You know,
Hell no.
I think I saw an estimate that you probably swallow by accident at least
Ugh.
5 to 10 spiders by accident. Just little freaking arachnids and
Yeah.
shit. So we could toast to that, y'all.
Yeah.
You've been swallowing
Okay.
arachnids all day and still living. You know, if you're wondering why you need that bat machine that makes you not
Yeah.
snore and keep your mouth open, there you go. Um,
Interesting. Interesting.
so there we are, man. I'm thinking there's so many ways they can go with this, right?
Yeah.
The
Definitely.
mess that they've done with the comics, and I mean, it's been an absolute freaking mess. Now you got a way forward. Like, okay, we've got all these freaking characters. All these characters are doing their own bullshit on the freaking side, but we now know that there's a funnel where they can eventually show up inside the freaking movies, and I really do like that, right? Um,
Talking about that the little band on their arm or whatever.
Oh, the
oh, that
watch.
that shit, yeah, the freaking watch and
I just
everything.
don't understand why he didn't grab one like for himself. Like
Well, I
Spider
mean,
would have always been on his way out the door. Let me use my web to grab something real quick. You know what I mean? And yank it off someone's arm or something.
sometimes if you don't know how it works, you know,
Yeah,
that's
but
the freaking
remember,
thing.
uh, Spider Punk stopped at Gwen's house and gave her the.
Hmm.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
You're right.
he
he
had
represented
multiple,
all the parts that he was grabbing.
but he had multiple because when he said I quit, he threw it on the table and dipped through the hole through
Yeah.
that little.
Well, let's talk. Well, let's talk about Spider Punk for a quick second. For me, he obviously stole the freaking show.
Yeah, he was.
What are we thinking on Spider Punk? Do we think that we need to speculate on Spider Punk?
Is that the
Um,
same Spider Punk from the comic book?
Hobie
Yeah.
Brown, yes.
Yep. And I would love to speculate on it, but unfortunately, the paper quality of issue number one sucked dick.
Yeah.
I'm all about that. I'm all about not all the comics being perfect.
I haven't read the book, so I can't really I
Yeah.
can't comment. So I don't know. I mean, if you're going off of just the covers, I mean, they look dope to me, but I didn't I didn't get in on it.
Yeah.
It's a fun read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So were there any other characters from the movies that you think that you wanted to see, or did you guys think that we should be speculating on? So Spider-Man India, of course, Spider-Man Punk, of course, Gwen. That's a bygone
Actually,
thing.
the one thing that surprised me is they actually had Spider-Man Unlimited from that really crappy second animated series from the 90s.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly I don't think. I mean, I think it's Spider Man. It's like one of those situations where it's like it's literally you buy what you like. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like whatever you're on, like you get it as a path now. They just have to incorporate those characters and build them. You know what I mean? Because people obviously dig them now. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Edwin Aguilar says he needs more Spider Cat. I don't even remember Spider Cat
Yeah,
from
Spider Cat
the.
was there. He threw that's the cat that threw
Yeah.
the fuzzball into Miles' face.
Okay.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, right. Yeah.
DZ Comics Suspect says we need to see Silk. If
I've never read her book, so I can't really, like I said, I can't comment on that.
they yeah, see that's here's yeah here's the big problem with what's going on with Silk right now. They were trying to push Silk hard while we were trying to cater to
Yeah.
China,
They've been
right,
trying to
and the
push
Southeast
so
Asian.
hard since day one with that character.
Right, but now that we're kind of like, you know what, China, you're not the largest population right now. Let's go with India, which is the largest population. Um, yeah, there's another Silk number one that just popped out, but we're not going as hard anymore. Think of Ages of Atlas and how hard we were going after that shit, right?
Mhm.
Now we haven't heard about that in a while, right? We haven't heard about White Fox. We haven't heard about that South Korean Captain America. His name was Takagui or
Yeah.
Taguchi.
Yeah.
Haven't heard about him in a freaking while. So they're kind of pulling back on their catering and love and showing love to the Southeast Asian countries right now. 78 points of articulation says that I either love spiders or I have arachnophobia. Let me tell you something, man. That 80s movie, Arachnophobia, was my shit. That shit was crazy, yo.
That shit
Wait,
scares
what
the
movie?
It was in the Stephen King movie called Arachnophobia.
Nah, it was Steven Spielberg.
Steven Spielberg.
Yeah,
Okay.
that shit was ill though.
Yeah.
That shit
I,
was creepy as fuck.
yeah, a city doctor goes out to the country. Um, he's the only doctor in town, and then as soon as he shows up, these people start dropping dead because somebody imported this thing, and it had a spider, very poisonous spider that made it with a spider that makes millions and millions if you give it and give it enough time, and people just start dropping dead. Man, it was just crazy. That was that one left an impression in my mind, as well as there was this old, I want to say it's from the 70s, called Ants. I think it's called
Oh yeah,
Ants.
yeah, yeah. I remember that shit.
Yeah, it was.
I no man, I can't do the spiders, man. I can't do spiders, bro. I'm
Yeah,
like Indiana Jones with snakes when it comes to spiders, man. I can't do it.
yeah,
I can barely tolerate four legs, much less eight. So
yeah. So in the meantime, notice that we're not talking about Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur anymore. We're not talking about Riri. We're not talking about no old girl from Shuri from Black Panther, right? Um, we've left all that behind. We don't care about those characters
Yeah, I
anymore.
thought
We
that
don't
I
we don't
haven't
talk.
even finished the Moon Girl animated series at this point.
Yeah, yeah. They just killed
No,
off a major. Yeah,
it just it's not for everybody, man. That's just the thing. Like you know what I
it
mean?
it doesn't.
It's not because it wasn't good; it's just time.
Yeah.
There's too much content coming out at once right now.
Yes, but Moon Girl Devil's Dinosaur came out a while ago. It came out like months ago,
It's
and
truly geared for kids, though. It's not really like it's not like on some stuff that like is very mature like that at all. It's very kid. It's for kids. Like
No, no, I
you know,
agree. I just thought it was cute.
yeah, that's all it is. That's not no anything other than exactly that. I mean, and they hit the nail on the head for that. You know what I mean? So I mean,
yeah.
I can't look at it anything different than what that is. That's truly for children. It's not
I
for
mean,
us.
to me, it's just it's a nice way to decompress and like
Yeah,
just forget all my troubles and be a kid again.
yeah, yeah. It's definitely not for adults in any capacity.
Okay. So Transformers, Rise of the Beast. That's what came out this week. I got to see it on Thursday. That was my first viewing of it. I didn't get any preview copies or anything. And let me tell you something, man. It all the other freaking joints that they put out, all the other bullshit that they put out, this kind of wipes it away, right? It makes it feel like it was just an introduction to like, hey, there's this robot and there's this robot, right? And then hey, here's the actual story. These are why these are actually freaking important right now. So now instead of going, oh my god, here's another uh freaking thing. Now I'm like, oh man, when is the next Transformers freaking story?
Yeah, like that.
It's got me like that. It had me. It's got me thinking that immediately after the show, I'm gonna buy more Paramount stock.
Yeah,
I mean, as cheap as it was, I think at one point they had like $10, $11 a couple weeks ago, and I think it rose up to 14, 15. I would have to. I'm gonna have to check to see what it is. It did really well. Now I'm looking like, okay, now they got their shit together,
yeah.
right?
The
This could
comp.
be
Yeah,
this could be what Paramount needed to finally
it did. It did. The
kick him in
problem
the ass.
is, yeah, the problem, and this is, I'm afraid I'm gonna have to spoil it for y'all. Um,
I already know. I
they're
already, like I
yeah,
said, go ahead.
yeah. The thing is that they immediately after during the mid credit scenes, they're trying to mix it with the GI Joe freaking franchise, and that's scary, right? Because they just really haven't figured that out yet, right? Um, the last three freaking GI Joe movies that they done have
Oh,
been
they all
terrible.
sucked.
To include that freaking Snake Eyes freaking movie, right? Which had the potential to
That
be
Snake Eye
amazing,
movies was a fucking abortion too.
Yeah, that shit was terrible.
you know.
There's porno movies better than Snake Eyes. I said it.
You know, so look, if you look at all of the Paramount franchises that they've got under their fucking belt, they have they've got the potential to unlock Disney.
Yeah.
And I say that with my full chest out because the rumor is out there right now is that Disney is trying to sell the Star Wars universe.
To
Interesting.
who?
We don't know.
Back to
I
George
would
Lucas.
yeah, that's what I would bet. Is that would be back to George Lucas, right? Because they've had it for a while. It hasn't made them the money that they thought it would make, right? They made a bunch of changes. They did this and that thing, and it just hasn't been making the money that they needed. So,
You know,
so if they wanted to sell it back to George Lucas, I'm fine with that. You know what I mean? But
they
in the
ain't,
meantime,
they ain't got that touch. That's all.
yeah. But in the meantime, Paramount's got what? It's got Transformers. It's got Star Trek, which they've been doing a little bit of something, but they just haven't had that one piece yet, right? Um,
Don't forget
Tran
TMNT and that trailer for the new TMNT thing looks pretty good.
yeah, man, they've got so much shit that's out there. They've got the Scream franchise, which did really well. They did a really good job in making sure they had Jenny Ortega in there, who was the Wednesday character,
Jenny Ortega. Yum
right?
yum yum.
And
Christopher.
y'all could freaking drop me if y'all could drop off if you want to because you don't like to listen to me say this. Y'all motherfuckers that been buying that porno fucking Wednesday fucking shit.
You know what? I got like 10 copies of it.
Y'all, y'all,
But no
y'all,
one needs them.
y'all,
Hit me
y'all
up.
got
I got them in quantities.
y'all got a special place in the burning place.
Yeah,
It may
also
not be right
wow,
next to Hitler, but
yeah, also wow
Yeah,
ones, boy.
I'm across the street from him
yeah,
in hell.
Yeah.
right, y'all, you could have played any freaking
That's me,
character.
Christopher.
I mean, and I understand that the actress who plays it is old, but come on now, we can't be doing that shit. Um, but yeah, freaking, it's definitely good. Here's there's one spot that they got kind of sticky on, and I hate this when movies do this. It's when you go from dialogue to dialogue to dialogue, right? You got two characters, then you switch to another two characters talking, you get switched to another two characters talking, and it had no those dialogues had no purpose whatsoever. There was no new information freaking dropped whatsoever. The vibe doesn't drop whatsoever. It's just filler, and that was a problem from some of those other Transformers movies, and it got stuck in that place here, which they didn't freaking need. Um, and but otherwise, the rest of the stuff, the new Transformers, and they're pulling out what's going on. I will say that whoever did the soundtrack and matched the soundtrack to the action, yeah, fire that guy, right? Um, because there was a couple joints where because so here's the deal. This was 1994, and that was kind of like the boon of like hip hop. You got freaking Puffy, Mace, uh, Big Papa, fucking Big Pun. That was a big summer for us, right? So they had they had a lot of freaking music they could have pulled from, which was great. But matching the action to the music, they were just fucking terrible at that shit, right? You're sometimes like, oh, character jumps here, boom, now you freaking start it,
Yeah,
or
that's that's
character
the other
pulls
thing
up.
I loved about Across the Spider Verse
Yeah,
was the
it was right on.
soundtrack was also off the chain.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not just the soundtrack was awesome. It's timing it with what's actually happening on screen.
Yeah,
It was on point. So if you pull out a freaking gun, there needs to be a certain point in the freaking music that it just goes off. So if I'm pulling out my two freaking guns, that's when you need to have the boom, I don't need to be pulling out the freaking guns, and then you got the boom 3 seconds later and shit. If I'm jumping out of a fucking plane, that's when I need to have a click click boom or the freaking all right, mama's gonna knock you out going off at the same time.
that
So
makes sense.
yeah, the soundtrack and engineer needs to be fired. Get somebody else. Pull somebody else, man. Pull me. I'm available on Saturdays and Sundays. I'll fucking do it for you. So world's biggest geek is asking, hello guys, do you think Paramount Pictures should reboot the GI Joe franchise or leave GI Joe alone? They are pulling back some of those same characters. I think their vision is makes sense, right? Their vision is let's give more of a realistic tint to the GI Joe franchise, right? So let's not just have them like having magical powers and you click off like freaking 100 rounds and nobody fucking gets killed or anything like that. Let's show that they have a special mission and this is what they're supposed to freaking do. So I don't think they need to. I don't think they need to reboot it. I do think they do need to. They're gonna have to look. They're gonna have to bring in new characters, right? And younger actors, right? Because normal soldiers are between the ages of 18 to fucking 28,
hmm
right? They're not fucking 30-year-old, 40-year-old fucking guys that we've seen since the fucking 90s. Shut right. Like you don't need to see my ass out there in the fucking field, fucking
Mm,
clicking off fucking rounds. I'm supposed to be back at the office.
yeah,
Like,
you
hey,
made
bro, what do you need? You need more MREs? All right, good. I got
At
you.
this time, you
That's
should
it.
be pencil pushing.
Right.
yeah, if you made it that far, then you shouldn't be still in combat. So
Yeah, if you're 40 years old, you're supposed to be a general. You're supposed to have like three stars on your fucking jacket. You're not supposed to be at a fucking out there or under a fucking car, fucking trying to fucking hot boot your fucking car and none of that stuff. You're supposed to be you're supposed to be back in the office chilling with your fucking coffee, pissed off that soldiers don't want to fucking do their fucking job anymore. You're supposed to be
right.
doing that shit, right? So get younger actors and just remember that the code names that you know are just code names, right? You could have different real people. Like John Smith is now Starkbreak, right? You just attach different freaking characters to the freaking code names, and then there you go, right? And then you take the guys that were the old code names and you just fill them into office positions and do something like that. Just do that, so you don't have to reboot it. Just do it like the way the real freaking military actually actually works. What you do need a reboot and refresh is how the villains work, how Cobra freaking works, how uh what was the mean the what was the name of the big bad villain?
Cobra
Um
Commander,
no, not see, there was Cobra Commander, but there was a guy that was higher than him. They brought in
Serpentor.
yeah, Serpentor, right? Bring that in, right? The GI Joe that they had over the last year and a half, that was amazing. There was another joint where another GI Joe story where Cobra took over a couple of cities, and by a couple of cities, they just took it over and then just turned it into a normal city.
Yeah,
That shit was like mind blowing to me. So
Wait,
yeah, so
because I'm not 100% up on my GI Joe lore. So
yeah,
Cobra, they take over a city and then they turn it into a regular city.
yep,
yeah. They hypnotize everybody.
yep. So
Interesting.
GI Joe was the bad guys, and Cobra were the good guys because they were running a city,
Hmm.
right? In the meantime, they were doing their normal bat shit under the freaking table, right? But they were outwardly they were just running a regular city. That shit was a fucking really freaking good
Were
freaking
they running
storyline.
the city well?
Yeah,
Like better than the actual government?
But then
yeah,
yeah, Joe came through and they were like, something's not right.
yeah. So then you make GI Joe the terrorist, and Cobra's just doing their thing as the major. That was an amazing story. That's the storyline that they need to freaking bring up and freaking tell, but people weren't reading it, right? So now we got to rely on Image. I think I can say that now. That GI Joe as well as Transformers is moving to Image. Uh,
Skybound. Sky.
I don't know about Skybound. I don't know anything about that, but we should be seeing how that's going to shake out pretty soon. So Mirror's Comics
So
says,
that's
remember,
official. That's official.
you'll see how it shakes out. So the rumor is, and I'm going to say this is the rumor because I have not confirmed it because I haven't
Oh.
gotten my copies yet. Is that in Void Rivals #1, which is an Image um property freaking book that's coming out soon, is that the Transformers and GI Joe will be inside those book. The
That's what I
redacted
heard too.
Yeah, the redacted version is going to have some type of iteration that shows that to be a fact.
Wait. So the new book that's coming out is basically like a GI Joe Transformers book.
It's a storyline, but inside that storyline, they're going to bring in GI Joe and Transformers.
When does it actually come out?
Soon.
This week, right?
Yeah. So from the email that I got from the actual company from Image, because if you got a 1/100, Each story they got a 1 in 100. You got you got a video from I forget the name of the freaking writer, and he's going to say, "Hey guys, no, hey freaking, thank you for buying whatever," and then here's what the thing is all about and everything.
Mhm.
So that's supposed to come out on. It's supposed to send that to me on June 16th.
All right, which is next week, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
So so the rumor is, and once again, I am imploring you to not waste your money until we can confirm it. Is that the redacted cover is actually going to have some iteration of the Transformers and GI Joe on that freaking cover.
Wait. So there's another cover that's coming out, and it's
Yes,
like
it's a 1 in 100. It's a 1 in 100. So take that information for what you will. Lucas says, don't buy shit until you fucking see it for yourself. But that's the rumor out there. Because I can't confirm shit right now. In fact, here's the problem. I think it was on Wednesday. I was supposed to be on a Zoom call at 4 p. No, Thursday. Yeah, Thursday. I was supposed to be on a fucking Zoom call, but I had a freaking meeting late with my employer, so I couldn't freaking make it home, and I didn't get home till 6. So I couldn't freaking make it to confirm to be able to ask those freaking questions.
yeah.
Um, JC, let's see. Let's go through some of the comics comments. It says Maris Comics Collectibles says, remember that they got Hemsworth as young Optimus in the next Transformers movie being made. You know what I want to see? I kind of want to see some of the Mirrorverse stuff or the last Transformer stuff. That would be interesting. World Biggest Geek says, hello. Do you think? Okay, we already talked about that. Scarface and Gravediggers albums came out around at the same time too. Image is official. Skybound is assumed. If they did the Cobra team, do you think it would be the Cobra Commander or the Emperor? I think it would be the Cobra Commander, right? Um, I think what they would do is they would structure like just like everybody's doing right now, just like Fast and Furious is doing right now, just like Across the Spider Verse is doing right now. They're going to go to a trilogy, right? Start out with the Cobra Commander being the bad guy, with the Emperor, Simpetor Emperor being freaking like the guy behind the freaking guy. We get to him at like the end of the second one, and then like the third movie is like the big thing. So yep, the spoiler cover is supposed to be the Transformers, GI Joe stuff. Edwin Aguilar says 100,000 print count days before FOC deadline for. I'm not sure what that means, but the the reaction that it's supposed to be 100,000. Um, what you need to account for is the fact that a lot of retailers did do a retailer exclusive, right? Um, so that would count into the big count. Don't forget there's most likely at this point there's going to be a freaking second print as well. Um, right now the joints that you see on eBay are going for like 130 to 174 bucks for a 1 in 100, which is actually still pretty good. Um, so there you go. Once again, I'm not saying freaking buy it. I'm saying don't buy it. Just stay put for right now until we can confirm what's actually on that freaking cover, or if the cover even looks anywhere good enough to freaking. Because when everybody starts fucking talking about that and is freaking focusing on that, there's gonna be that one little book that comes out of nowhere, and that's gonna be the freaking book that freaking knocks it out of the fucking park.
Always happens.
So there we go. 16.5 million, 58 million for um no Spider Verse. So yep, there we go. But so Remo, where are you at? You said you're in Texas, right?
No, I'm in the Bay Area,
Oh, okay. Oh, excuse me. Which Bay area you talking about? Bay, Florida, or Bay, California?
California.
California. Okay. Adam, where you are? You're in New York, aren't you? Or
Yep,
you're
New
in
York City.
Okay, so how you dealing with that smoke haze and everything?
I feel like I'm in that opening scene of Crisis at Infinite Earths, and the world's about to collapse, and it's just been horrible the last couple of days. I haven't even been outside all that much.
I know a whole bunch of people say, man, they're kind of happy about it because they made all these plans to do a certain during the summertime. They're like, oh man, I was going to run this marathon and everything, but now it kind of got. We think it got canceled, or maybe it didn't freaking get canceled, and they're like, nah, I don't have to do that shit anymore. I mean, so I'm kind of feeling about that. I tell you what, this cherry moonshine,
It's the one, not
it's the
the two.
one. hmm it's not as good. I can't decide between this one and the peach.
Yeah.
The peach one is really good as well.
But to
All
the
right.
to the point about the fires and stuff, man, we would go months like that.
Your brother was like, wait a minute, we call this Tuesday.
What is it? That's nothing. I walked outside and it looked like, you know what I'm saying, heaven's end. Like I was just like, oh, this is it. And then you know what I'm saying, it's like, just you just deal with it, man. And I got
So
asthma, so it's not,
yeah,
what I mean, so it was double sucks. So
I remember being out there and they'd be like, because I used to live out in the ocean side, and they were like, oh hey, yeah, there's these wildfires out there, and the fire department is needing help, so we might need if you can have y'all going over there if we can ride out with them. Ride out who? Ride out
yeah,
me?
she
Yeah.
Hell no.
no do that.
Fuck that
Shit.
shit.
Yeah. I am all about doing my part, but y'all need to give me more instruction than that.
You ain't jumping off into no fire. You
Yeah.
crazy.
Like I am paraglide certified. I am not freaking fire certified. Nothing on here says fire. It is a couple wings. Ain't no fire on that motherfucker. Fuck that. Fuck all that. Chug it, chug it, chug it. Once we start getting the FOC, then you start freaking seeing me chug stuff. But Highland Park, 18 euro is a great drama for solid price. Solid price. Okay. You're gonna have to explain a little bit more about that. But all right, so here we go. Getting back into actual comics. I had a couple of search terms, of course, putting it through Terapeak. This is away from the stuff from that CBSI Top 10 does, because I am looking for where you guys can make your actual freaking money. All right. This does not include any of the incentives or anything like that. This includes like, hey, these were open order freaking books. This is where people were actually putting their money to. The search term for the first one was just regular comic books. Okay. Um, Star Wars number 35. That one was the top one with a 225 sold.
Hmm.
That one was close to Spider Boy freaking numbers, which was like 325, 400 or something like that. This is in 7 days. 225 for that Star Wars 35. First full Dr. Kawada Marvel. And I'm glad they were put that out, qualified it because the actual first appearance was number 34. Inside of it, inside the guts, there was actually a new character, maybe a new character. I can't quantify it, but there was a lady that was sitting on the throne. I forget the name of the planet that she's from. It's a weird thing, Lucas having hallucinations and all the other shit. So there's a character that I haven't been able to identify inside the guts of the book. So Star Wars fans, y'all do you. That's good, right? Second on that list is Incredible Hulk number 181, the foil. That one was 55. Not even close to what Star Wars was doing. Spider-Man 7, the third print. This one's not even out yet, right? But it's showing up on just general freaking comic book freaking joints. Number 4 is the Amazing Spider-Man number 26, the cover A. That's pretty interesting, right? Because the one that people were actually going for before was that spoiler variant, but despite the leaks, despite the fact that we know what's actually happening in a book, people are actually going for this deathless Kamala Khan stuff. So this is something to keep
Interesting.
an yeah. So this is something to keep an eye out on for, right? We're because we're all over first appearances, but it looks like we're all over um deaths now, right? Um, I don't know what to think about this, but so there was the main joint where she's actually shown to be dead. She's not shown to be dead on this cover A. People are all over it. Batman number 357, the facsimile. Scarlet Witch number 4. No first appearances in this one. There is a character that was from way back called Jenna Dean. She's actually in this one. Spider Punk number 1, that cover A. In fact, Adam, you actually talked to this one earlier. The Oliver Coppel, that's that cover A. The one that one was, in fact, I'm pretty sure that all the covers had shitty freaking paper.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, I remember I bought like 50 of them from you, and even the one in the 50 was a little damaged.
sorry about that, man, but
That's not you.
yeah,
It's the fucking it was the yeah.
yeah. So that's the thing. Like, if the regular cover price is $3.99, that means that they're going to put it on freaking uh shitty fucking paper. And then to top out the joint is Loki number 1, the Art Germ cover B. That's one with the female Loki on the freaking cover. That one's keep an eye out on.
Nice,
I'm almost sold out
nice.
of all my copies, which is actually pretty interesting. Um, what was interesting that didn't show up in this one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight top eight is the Deadpool Batter Blood, the Scotty Young. I was kind of interesting that
Ooh,
that
I'm
didn't show up.
surprised about that.
This is the first appearance of Shadow Storm, which is like a female Shadow Star. I'm kind of shocked that that didn't freaking show up there. All right, the next search term that I had was pre-sales. Um, that one was again interesting. So last week, Elvira Mossland, that was the top one. This one dropped down to number 2. That Hulk Wolverine 181, that facsimile, that one moved up to number 1. Still,
God damn,
still,
really?
yeah, yeah. You guys are going crazy for the facsimiles, right? Um, instead of just buying a regular joint at 1.5 for a couple 2,000, y'all rather spend money on facsimile. But y'all, go ahead, y'all do you. Spider-Man number 7, that third print, tops of that number 3. Another facsimile for Spider-Man 300. That's at number 4. That's one's a foil. Spider-Man 27. People were all over that for some reason. Then Venom 22, Carnage number 14, and then Venom Lethal Protector. So right now, whereas I've been saying like I don't know who's reading Carnage or Venom, that is no longer the case. It looks like people are actually back into Venom and Carnage. And I get it. Like I understand that there's these new characters. There's these two new characters that have been taking on the Carnage um, mantle, right? They're kind of sharing it, but in different storylines. I get that, but there's not much meat to them right now. I'm not sure what's going on. Like, are people actually reading, or are people saying, "Hey, there's these new characters, so I'm just got to make sure that I got the Venom and Carnage." I'm
So
not
I've been
sure.
reading Venom, which I've somewhat been enjoying until I get interrupted for this big summer event. But right now, my favorite symbiote book is Red Goblin.
Hmm. Okay, okay.
Red, Red
So
Goblin is just a fun book. I can see the character having legs.
yeah, storyline to keep an eye out on is also the Thor because it sort of ties into been going on with the whole Carnage stuff. So yeah, Thor, Carnage, and Venom, they've been kind of eking back and forth over into each other. To include the Loki storyline, that kind of delves into the Carnage Venom storyline right now as well. So it looks like they've been trying to combine those two.
All right.
Maris Comics Collector says he's been selling the 2022 Spider Punk number ones a lot. this week, especially the Maria Wolf variant and the 1 in 25s. All right, good to go. Make that money. Um, the one that I was shocked that it didn't make it into this list was the Void Rivals. Um, I so I understand if people are not buying the open orders, I get that, but I would have thought that more of them would. I'm not sure what's going on with that, so we'll have to see once the actual news and everything comes out. All right, so here we go. Let's start into actually before we get into the FOC, let's take a quick break so I can pour myself a proper
Cool. While we had the break, I
fucking
can actually
drink.
use the bathroom. Thanks.
Let's see. Let's go.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
All right, all right, all right. Look, so that was K-pop and the whatever universe those guys are. I've been trying to get those guys. Let's do some overall Korean. Let's do some overall Asian. Let's do some overall manga. They don't. Even though we signed for checks, they don't freaking reply to emails. So fuck those guys. But don't say I don't support the rest of the Comic Crusaders freaking family. Um, hey, you just had a. Did you just do awesome radio sauce radio on Wednesday?
Yeah, I did a quick episode. Did just did a couple of reviews, did some spec plays, and then I got out because been doing reconstruction on the house all week. We had new floors put in and had all
Nice,
sorts of new banisters and kitchens, like a whole new kitchen put in. So it's been freaking crazy this whole week.
nice. It's
I
always
still
good
got
to have new.
contractors coming tomorrow, so it's
y-
freaking nuts.
Yeah, it's always good instead of buying a whole new house. Just freaking take the house you got, freaking reconstruct that shit and make it
Yeah,
how
so
you
it's
want.
just been crazy all
Yeah.
week. So I didn't have a Tuesday episode, and then I wasn't even able to come back into my house till like 5 o'clock at night. And I was like, let me just crap a podcast out of my ass, and so I'll just do this.
Nice. All right, all right. Let's get into the FOC. DC had a couple of interesting things that they're trying to do this week. Um, but it's going to be tough for retailers to kind of pull it out right without freaking going right into the guts of what's going on. I just saw a couple of PDF previews that are going on that I have not read. Um, well, let's just go right into it. What's going on? Spirit World number 3. There's an Orzu. There's a 1 in 25. Then the big thing that's going to be out this week, or not out in a few weeks, is this whole Night Terrors
Yep.
shit. There's a lot of stuff that's freaking going on.
There's a ton.
You said it's a con. It's
I
just
said it's a
money grab.
ton.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Have you read any of the solicits for this thing? Like, do we know
Yeah, I
what's actually
have.
going on?
A lot of it looks interesting, actually.
Yeah, because I don't think I quite understand what they're trying to freaking go for here. Let's see. I'm not sure. DC Connect number 36. Yep. Okay. But yeah, so because right now what I'm looking at is there's Batman, and he's on a terrace as he does, just outside hanging out. But he's got a big D on his chest,
Yep.
aligned with the Batman sign, and his cape is red for some freaking reason. So not sure what they were going for here, but all right, DC. Um, so in fact, I did do a preview show where I went into some other stuff. I didn't go that deep because I'm still not sure I quite understand what they're going for here. But all right, apparently some people are buying it, but there's so much stuff that I'm not sure if it's worth it.
I think it's going to be oversaturated.
Well, see, it's the
I think there's a
summertime,
little.
so
I think this event has a little too much, to be honest.
yeah, yeah, I'm not sure. So there is a 1 in 25 variant cover, and there is a 150 and a 1 in 100. The 1 in 25 is done by even Doc Sheener, and 1 in 50 is done by Alex Maleev. That's the one I have of the dude that's on the terrace out there. And then there is the 1 in 100 variant cover by Even Reyes, and then there is a Matina variant cover that I have coming up sooner or later. Now, here's what's really interesting and what was different is that there is a neon cover. It's the Night Terrors #1 cover D, Ivan Reyes Darkest Hour neon ink cover. It's $5.99. It is absolutely fucking trippy. That's the one that I fucking want. That's in fact, let me go ahead and put an
Interesting.
order for that one right now. DC Pride 2023 has got a second print coming out. And
Okay. And
it's weird because the character that they have out here looking the sexier is the Dreamer character.
actually, I think that's their poster child for the whole Pride movement on DC as of late.
But I get that, but why did they go first they're trying to make her look like an anime character with the knee-high stockings and just the whole vibe look. So I don't know what they were going for, but all right. Then there's a DC manga sampler. So there's a manga storyline out there where there's the Joker and he actually raises Bruce Wayne out there. Um, so there you go. There's that's a freaking thing. That's one FOC this week. So if y'all need it, go ahead and freaking get with your retailers. Get that one, or you can get with me, and I'll get you guys some copies. This is right here. This is the Matina variation of that Night Terrors #1. Huh. So what's interesting on here is that it's actually Dead Man. Oh, he's got the D on his chest. Okay, gotcha. Static, shout out Dakotas. This one is a 1 in 25. Then there's Superman versus the annoying Harley Quinn. It's it's got an old kind of 40s or 50s kind of look to it.
Interesting.
World's Finest Teen Titans. This is sensitive for that one. Wildcats #9. More incentives. Nothing interesting here. Steelworks #2. Got incentive. Um, let's see who did this one. This one was 1 in 25 by Abraham Mustafa. Peacemaker tries hard number 3, 1 in 25. Night Terror Zantana. Old girl Zantana looks like she's being eaten by a spider. So of course you gotta have the tentacles and arms and shit.
Tentacles. Wouldn't be an
Yeah.
episode of
So
Drunken Chatso without tentacles.
yeah, tentacles of the year. That's what I need to freaking do.
Yeah.
And then 10. Oh, so maybe did they take this off? I guess.
Take what
Because
off?
yeah, because right now I have this Night Terror Zantana join up, but it's not showing back up on the site. But yeah, so there. I mean, this is the thing. This is Night Terror Zantana. There's two covers. One is of her being eaten by a spider, and then the other one is of her being eaten by looks like some type of octopus with, of course, suction cup tentacles
Nice,
coming out of her
nice.
head. Uh, kind of need this cover.
Why?
Kind of need this cover. You know what, man? That's let's. I'm gonna say this, man. Most of these covers, it looks like it's a variation of either tentacles or some type of bondage. That seems to be the theme. Night Terror is the Joker. There is,
This is the most interesting one out of all of them, just because of the premise.
and it's one
Joker
in
working a
25.
9 to 5, and he's working at a call center, so he's the Joker's basically a telemarketer.
What?
Yeah, this whole concept is like the villain's worst nightmares. So the
Ah,
Joker's worst nightmare is working a 9 to 5. And if you look at the cover,
what?
it says Wayne Call Center. So I'm just assuming that they're making the Joker a fucking telemarketer, which I think is genius.
Interesting. Does he have to? So hopefully, he's married and he's got no child, no
That would be
child payments.
that would be hysterical, man. They did that in the Harley Quinn cartoon, but to see it in a comic would be freaking sweet.
Oh man. Yep. So what I have up here right now is the 1 in 25 Alan Qua homage. Then there's a 1 in 50 Ryan Brown, and this one is not tentacles. It's just a bunch of fingers grabbing at him. Oh, it looks good. It just looks good. God damn it. I guess I'm gonna have to spend some money, I guess. All right, Night Terror is the Flash. 1 in 25. No tentacles, but it looks like it's more of like a body horror type deal they're going for. And then there's your 1 in 50 by Rafael Sarmento. Black Adam,
Joke.
1 in 25. Cover C by. Oh, actually, this is not a 1 in 25. This is actually just a regular open order. Cover C by Tiago da Silva. And once again, not necessarily tentacles, not necessarily body horror. It's just like a bunch of zombies just grabbing at him.
Okay.
Cover B by Christian Ward. I don't even know how to describe this, but it looks like he's pulling his own skull out. Cover D, Dustin Gwynn. Kind of a weird variation on the whole negative color thing. This one is, I'm not sure who did this one, but it is this one is a Shazam cover. Then there's a night terrorist Robin.
Okie doke.
Let's see. Gotta make sure. Okay, Robin is okay. 1 in 25 by Wolf Connolly. There's a lot of new artists in here that I haven't really heard of before.
Yeah.
And he is not chained, but he does have chains in his hands. Looks like he's
Well,
coming
maybe
for
he's
you.
about to change someone else. Yo.
Yeah, it's he's a zombie in this one, and he looks like he's about to put the chains on somebody. And then there's a 1 in 50 by Jorge Corona. It doesn't look as good as the 1 in 25. And there's a Ravager. And of course, there's the tentacles, or more like snakes.
Is that the one with all the snakes?
Yeah. Night Terror is the Joker. Guess what's on here? Snakes.
Tentacles?
Yep. Oh, freaking tentacles or snakes on this
They're,
one.
they're listening to us, bro. They're listening to us.
So this one is the Simon Bianchi.
Something beyond you.
There more Ravager covers. Here's a Poison Ivy cover. So it looks like a Night Terror for Poison Ivy would be her becoming a housewife.
Yeah, her nightmare is the living in the suburbs.
I don't see it. And you know what? The covers aren't that bad. So this one is the 1 in 25 by Nimit Malavia. Then there's also this one is the 1 in 50 by Jessica Dalva. There's some Green Lantern covers. None of them actually catch my eye. There's the Night Terror's First Blood cover by Francesco Martina, Open Order.
Okay, ooh, open ornament.
And so it's a weird. So, yes, they just decided to go all out. They didn't just decide to go with the tentacles, they decided to go with the manga Weird Eyes and Bondage.
Nice, nice.
And fishnet stockings.
Awesome to the sauce. Awesome to the sauce.
So they decided to go with the whole freaking thing all in one freaking cover, and it's an open
That's
order
something we
cover.
would say autoerotic, man.
They went all out.
Yeah.
Then there's the 1 in 25 by Riccardo Federici with Harley Quinn. It's a very realistic version of Harley Quinn. She's got spiders all over her, dude.
That's not cool.
God damn it! I guess I gotta get this one. I gotta get this one. I gotta have this one. Joe 477 to say, yep, look at the eyes behind it. Yeah. Very, very manga with the eyes behind. Then Night Terror's First Blood, 1 in 50 Ejikuri. Then there's also a 1 in 100 Jaili. There's Black Adam covers. There's your Black Adam 1 in 100. Batman Night Terrors. Here's your 1 in 25 by Calum Goo.
Okay.
It's got this little kid on there with the red eyes, the creepy little fucking eyes and shit. So I'm not sure. So there's this one character out there that what's this guy's name? It doesn't have his name because there is a design variant, but it doesn't have the kid's name. Um, there's a kid out there that's he. It's as if Batman had the same thing, or if the kid had the same circumstances as Batman, but he didn't have an Alfred, so the kid is just totally fucked up.
Yep.
Um, so it looks like that's the kid that's on this cover, but I'm not quite sure. And that's the design variant, which is a 150 by Dan Moore. Off for part two, Batman Incorporated number 10, more clowns. John Kent number 5. It also has an incentive on here, which is a 125 by Zoo or Zoo.
All right. I actually have to catch up on that book.
Yeah. And I'll give you. What do you think? There's another cover on here. This is 150. What do you think? What do you think? Do we think bondage or snakes or tentacles or what do you think? What do you want to guess?
A little of all the above.
So no, we just have bondage of John Kent on this one.
Okay.
So just bunch of dudes standing around in their tight tights, and John Kent's just in chains
Nice.
for
Nice.
no fucking reason. And they're all Superman, by the way.
Yeah, like I said, I definitely need to catch up. I was enjoying the story. I just need to catch up.
World's Finest Teen Titans number 1 incentive. Here's a Knights of Terror, Night Terror number 1 freaking incentive. The Joker, Open Order. Here's your Alex Maleev. Here's another Poison Ivy cover. I think this one looks like a Lorraine Lurie. Yep, Leslie Lurie. Leslie Lurie. Cover B, Open Order. And I'm not sure what's going on here, but it's Harley feeding Poison Ivy, and Ivy's just sitting there eating a donut, and just the goo of the donut is just kind of falling over her hands. So,
That's awesome.
uh,
It's sexual without being sexual. Respecting and fucking without specking and fucking.
it is because she is in a very short. She's in a summer dress,
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna have to get a couple of those.
and then there's a Jamie McKelvey cover with just Harley and Poison Ivy just sitting on the couch, holding hands, just chilling. So think of like the old 50s homes, right?
Yep.
That's what they're sitting in. They're sitting on the couch enjoying some, it looks like it should be coffee or tea with maybe some cookies or something like that. It looks like if you just looked at it quickly, it was like a normal type of deal. But if you look at the windows behind them, there's all types of shit going on. There's like bloody prints going on the fucking window. There's a house that's on fire. There's a skull on the fucking shelf and shit.
So that's cool. I still like the donut cover a lot better.
Oh man.
I'm a sucker for that 1950s vibe, but are these incentives or?
So this one by Jamie McKelvey, this one is a regular order as well as the Leslie Lurie. The one that I talked to you about before, where Poison Ivy is the homemaker, by Malavia, that's the one in 25.
All right.
And there's the 150 by Jessica Dalla. And then there's the Dustin Gwyn, which is just the weird negative space freaking cover. Then there's the Ravager, which is old girl, but it looks like half her face is kind of torn off, and she's trying to put her mask back on to cover it. There's the Robin cover. Looks like Red Hood, but he's not human anymore.
Interesting.
Woo! Woo! Oh man, these covers are killing me, man. I'm gonna be broke.
Night
This
terrors. It's a terror on your fucking wallet, man.
yeah, I'm because I'm looking at the Zantana cover, right? And she's a zombie, but I'm
Yep.
gonna tell you what, man, that ass, that back meat.
Back
Let
meat
me let
for
me
the
let me let me
win.
take off this quote so people can see the back meat. The back meat is looking kind of good, man.
Testify.
And it's
Speaking
done
up fucking once
by
again.
yeah,
Speaking
it's
up
done
fuck.
by Kendrick Kunkalim, and it's an open order. So I would probably get a bunch of these in order to get that 150 Miko Soyan, which is
Yeah.
the one with the tentacles.
No,
God damn. So
I do enough conventions where I can order 50 and do well, and I'm about to start street vending too. So between that and a couple all the other platforms, I'd probably do all right.
all right, so apparently, has a swimsuit cover by Helene Lenoble, and it's
Okay.
just her chilling on the freaking beach with her. They're not dogs, right? They're hyenas, I believe, right?
Yep, they're hyenas. New and bud.
And you know what? It doesn't look bad. It's not a must-have, but it's a pretty good joint right there. Toy Time covers this that Dare Chew. Which one are you asking about? All right, moving on from DC Comics, there's Scott Comics has Charm City. Actually, we're not quite off yet, but Batman White Knight presents Generation Joker 1 to 25. Mother Russia. These are mostly Luna covers. From Diamond, there's Dracula Boy Chaos number 2, cover B, Foil Robles.
Okay.
It's a black vampire and he's upside down. So there's going to be a foil cover for this one, which actually looks pretty good. From Opus Comics, Frank Frazetta Death Dealer number 14, cover C, 5-1 copy. This looks like an NES, but I can't say which game. It looks like it's homaging. I'm not sure which one. Then there's a 1 of 20, 1 of 10 by Borges. Tales of Science by Frank Frazetta, Fantasy number 2, cover 5. There's a movie. It kind of looks like a movie poster, and I gotta say, it looks actually really good. There's a 1 of 10 that's out there that I do not have the cover for yet. Lock and Key, Welcome to Lovecraft as a 50th anniversary special cover. 1 in 10, and then there's also a 1 in 25 and a 1 in 50. For my money, the 1 in 10 looks pretty good. Here's the deal about speculating on this one though, is that we know that Lock and Key is not going to return right now. So if you like to read Lock and Key, absolutely go ahead and freaking buy them just for the read, but don't buy these
You're
for
always
the
in for
circus.
a good time with reading it. So
Yeah. Star Trek Date of Blood number 1. There's a Raza cover. That's the one in the middle. It's got freaking Data, freaking Cisco, Worf. Um, it's got quite a few characters on there. But the Raza is a 1 in 25. There's also a 1 in 100 by Dave Johnson that looks pretty good. Problem is that it looks more like Maria Wolf's type of style.
okay.
And I believe I've read this already, so I'm not tracking any new characters on there. It follows along the storyline of the Klingon King or something like that, but I'm not tracking any new characters on this one. Toy Time Studio says that Raza is going to be a banger. I believe so too, man. So quietly, very quietly, these Star Trek covers are coming out of nowhere with some bangers. All right. So everybody's all over the Star Wars stuff, but these Star Trek covers are coming out of nowhere. And I've seen some that are
Well, you
coming
know
out
why?
in
It's
the last
because no
couple
one
months.
gives two shits about Star Trek, man.
Yeah.
Speculation lies.
Yeah. I mean, freaking. I, like, look, all of a sudden, I started seeing the Gold Key number 1 Star Treks coming up for sale again at
Yeah,
less than
my
a
boy
hundred bucks.
Calamity just sold a copy of that. The
Like,
Gold Key number 1.
like, motherfuckers just. I mean, I get it if you need the money, but like, come on, this is Star Trek. Jesus Christ. Um, last run in Lost Day. There's the new turtles that are on these covers. They're all a little bit more grown up right now. Look like they're ready to fight. There's a 125 by Escorgas and a black and white 150, as well as a 100. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Usagi Yojimbo's got a few incentive covers, including a wraparound cover. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles versus Street Fighter number 2. There's a 102, excuse me, there's a 250 incentive cover by Juniba. And all it's got is it's got Ryu with one of the turtles on there, and it's got the um. Remember how there was like the cheat codes and shit on there,
Yep,
or
yep,
or not, it's not, excuse me, it's not the cheat codes. It's the instructions on how to do a special move.
yeah.
So it's basically Ryu teaching one of the turtles on how to do his Hadouken move.
You see, that is kind of cool.
But 250 though.
I don't know like what I don't know if it's 250 cool, but it's still kind of cool.
Um, Junk Rabbit number 4, covered B by Robinson. It's a homage to the Playboy covers. There's no
Nice.
naked, yeah, there's no naked chick on here, but there is a rabbit on here, and it's the way they have them is a homage to the Playboy covers.
Yep. God rest you have your soul. Test it.
M- Monstrous number 45.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I can't believe this is still going on. So this is way different from what I've been seeing in the past, where it was like a cutesy type of family joint. The lady on here, she's all fucked up. She's all fucked up. So she's they went full manga on this cover. She's she doesn't have a body. She's mostly tentacles and eyes on this fucking cover with a little bit of blood. So I don't know. On number 343. Um, once again, freaking retailers right now are in the process of changing over their discounts over to Lunar, so be careful with some of these guys. 343, there's a cover A by Stevens, which actually looks pretty good. He looks like I don't know whether he's in a church or what, but it actually looks actually, he definitely is inside of a church. It looks pretty good. Uh, Swan Song, number 1. I couldn't tell you what it's about. Untold Tales of I Hate Fairyland, number 1. Looks really good. Not sure who the artist is. Amazing Spider-Man number 26, second print.
Okay, okay.
The open order cover is by Carrie Andrews, and it looks really good. It's just Mary Jane back in the arms of Spider-Man. It's kind of like a negative space, negative black, or kind of like a black background. But then
Nice.
there's a second print 150 for that one.
Jesus
So yeah,
Christ.
so but the thing is, it's not so for the open order, right? It was just the same art, but with a black cover over it. This one does not. I'm guessing does not have the black art over it, and it's just 150. So all right, whatever. I don't understand why it has to be 150. Probably should have been maybe a 125, but all right.
You see, that's what I was thinking too. I think the 150 is a little overboard, especially with people like cutting back on things and being more conservative with money right now.
Yeah, it's the summertime. I'm trying to spend more money on margaritas and freaking and blow than freaking actual fucking comics now.
Yeah,
You
right
know?
now, the kids are out. You got to make sure the kids are entertained for the summer. Like, even like the town pools are like a fucking arm and a leg to dry now.
Hmm. Oh, it's coming even harder than that.
Yep.
All right, Amazing Spider-Man number 29. That is another One If Parazota Disney 100 cover with many dressing up as Captain Marvel. There is a 1 in 100 for that one, of course, which is the black and white.
These Disney, when are they gonna stop?
They're not
And
gonna.
I
They
love
won't
Mickey
stop.
Mouse.
They
I
won't
love
stop.
Disney, but
Don't
come
stop.
on.
Can't stop. Won't stop. Can't stop. There is a Marco Cicchetto cover, which is the one in the middle. There's also a Hellfire Gala done by David Nakayama. That's one to the far right.
Yay, the ever gimmick that hasn't died yet.
Daredevil and Echo number one, second print, Phil Noto. There is a couple of regular freaking first appearances. They're not superheroes. Actually, I don't know what to think about that, but
Looks
there's a
like
second print
they're
for
gonna
Phil
start
Noto.
pushing Echo hard now too.
Yeah. Edge of Spider Verse number two, second print by David Jardine. Then there's the Fallen Friend number one, Carrie Andrews. There's your I forget who this one is done by. Didn't that one was by Pablo Villalobos. Actually looks pretty good, but considering the aspects of what story they're trying to tell, I don't give a fuck. Then there's an Agent Alfono, and then there's a Carnero homage, which has got Death with Miss Marvel in her lap. I've probably seen this cover over and over again with different characters in there. Um, it is what it is. Loki number two, 1 in 25. Then there's a Mateo Loli variant. Issue number one had the first. It's not necessarily the first appearance of the boat, but the boat was talking in that issue. It's the boat that was made out of the nails of the dead. So it's basically this whole thing is going to be following his whole adventure, trying to get pieces of the boat back and pieces of I forget what it
Interesting.
is. It's the axe back and everything, but now the boat talks for whatever fucking reason. So it is going to be weird to see what's going on. I think I talked to it earlier that Loki number one, that Art Germ was in the top 10 for the searches and for actual purchases. So I'm not seeing what's going to happen in number two, but it's out there. Miles Morales Spider Man. It's got some pretty good covers. There's a homage to the one where a goblin is tearing open Spider Man down a split. There's also a Hellfire Gala variant. Planet of the Apes number four has a John Jiang variant with a
Interesting.
mean looking ape on a freaking cover. Red Goblin number six has a John Barnes cover.
Nice.
Scarlet Witch number six has a Peach Momoko cover. There's no first appearances in this one, but I do like some of these covers. I do like this one in 25. That's the cola variant. Spider-Man number seven. Can't stop with just a second print. Got to go for that third print by
Yep.
Luciano Vecchio. Star Wars Bounty Hunters has a excuse me, as issue number 36, a LaRocca Bob Boba Fett death stick. Excuse me. Hold on, let me go take a sip of my
I think
moonshine
you need
again
to
real
take a
quick.
sip of your moonshine there, sirs.
Mhm. I want to pull out one of the cherries out of this motherfucker, but
Yeah, no.
I'm gonna wait till we get to the up and coming, and then we're gonna take a break. Star Wars Darth Vader number 36, Vecchio actually looks pretty good. Then the Bounty Hunters as a classic trade dress by Ordway. Web of Carnage number one, 1 in 25 by Salvador Loroca. What if Dark Loki 1 in 25 by Gabrielle Delado? Pretty damn good. X Men Days of Future Past, Doomsday, 1 in 25, I believe. Then there's a Saturday Morning Adventures version of the X Men Days of Future Past. Here's a Rian Gonzalez for X Men Red. Let's see me pull up, see if I can got the. Nope. I got this here, but I don't necessarily have the names of some of this shit. All right, Disney Villains Maleficent #3, 1 of 25 by Sue Lee. Gargoyles Dark Ages #1 by Clayton Crane. Liquid Quill #6, a cover C, a call, a Calero Kill Bill homage. Zetoscope GFT presents Swimsuit Edition 2023 by Cardi Grade. It's got a couple of chicks in the pool, sitting just chilling with some water guns. Adam, this is up your alley. And you guys think I'm bullshitting when I talk about fucking tentacles. If you haven't seen the way that tentacles has increased since I've been talking about this shit, and I'm dead ass looking at the Necronomicon one shot right now, and it's got a couple of folks characters on there, and it's got freaking tentacles on there with suction cups coming out and everything. I don't know what the fuck to tell you, man. It's
I
right
think you've
there.
been listening to the show for the last like two and a
They,
half
yeah,
two
no
and a half
motherfuckers
years.
have. Yeah, no motherfuckers have. And it looks good. I tell you what, they took the time, and it looks really good. Under the Influence by Matt Cave. Uh, I don't know what it's about, but I like it, and I'm gonna have to get it. Rebel Girls #1, cover K. Rich Woodall. There's a hollow foil for that cover, and then coming soon. So before we go to the coming soon, I think what we'll do is we're gonna take a quick break, and then so I can fucking pour myself a proper drink, and then we'll be back right after this. All right, all right. So I just got a note from Big Remo. He had to dip out. He will see us tomorrow. Um, so in the meantime, we're gonna go and get into the home stretch of this is the stuff that is actually going to be in the stores that are going to be actually on the racks on the stores this coming Wednesday, June 14th, 2023. Um, may the luck forever be in your favor. And make sure, I hope you guys can get the stuff. Vampiro the Strikes #13. This one is by Lucia Perillo. Adam, your guess. What's on the freaking cover?
Tentacles.
Close. Snakes.
Bondage.
Kinda one hand bondage. While the snake's trying to bite her. So
Okay.
very close. Snake. Jesus fucking Christ. I don't know. It's I guess it's at that point that Lucio is even listening to us. All right, so this one is going to be sold out at the distributor level. Dead by Daylight #1. The
Oh wow.
cover A by Tao. Okay, this one was originally a video game. They decided to do a comic book on it. Ivan Tao. You can go back and you can go back when I first started talking about this book. The Ivan Tao, he's already a beast. And you combine his stuff with something that people actually want, and boom, there you go. Cover A by Tao, sold out. Now here's the deal. Even though I already have copies coming to me for my customers, I'm not going to have enough for my personal side. I don't know. I might actually have to start going out there on the eBay and fucking buying other copies.
Oh
I
wow.
have to. Um, Larry Joe said there's an advanced read a copy of Under the Influence that came out this week, so yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. And then Larry Joe says there's also a movie in the works for Dead by Daylight. So that's
Interesting.
where, yeah, it's very interesting. So just as a reminder, there's no incentives for Dead by Daylight. There's like five or
I
six.
find that to be I find that to be fascinating too.
Yeah, so there was actually
This may be a hold. This may be a book to snag and hold for a bit.
right because look, here's the other deal. There was like five or six different covers. This is the one that actually has all the characters on the freaking cover, and
Yep.
they look really freaking good. So I personally am going to freaking get me some more copies of this because there's going to be some jackasses that sell it for
Yeah, I
cheap.
think I under ordered too. I think I'm gonna do the same thing you're doing.
Yeah. Frank Vazetta's Mothman #1, cover D by Robert Hack. This one is sold out at the distributor level, so make sure you secure your freaking copies if you're into the Mothman. Something Epic #2, cover B by Simon Kudra. This one is the Back to the Future homage.
Yep.
Doctor Strange #4, 1 of 50. Derek Chu by Clea. There's a 1 of 50 version. Then there's the Shadow Clones, which is Spider Gwen, but she's dressed as the Rhino.
Okay.
Greg Land. So good with that. What y'all want? Spider-Man #8, second print is coming out.
Okay.
Edge of Spider-Verse #1, second print by Ken Lashley. That's that Spider Killer cover.
Okay. Okay.
Star Wars 34. There's a second print coming out. Once again, that is the actual first appearance of that Doctor, the dude that helps helps Luke make his actual fucking saber, and he helps him actually bleed the fucking crystal to make it green.
Yep.
Groot #1, first appearance of shit. What's her fucking name? The chick that was the dad of shit. All right, dude from the Guardians of the Galaxy, Star Lord. Not Epic. His actual dad had actually raised him.
Okay.
Right.
It
So
escapes me at the moment.
so there's the female version of him. She's in this freaking book, and this group #1 was her first appearance. This one is the second print of this one, but it's by Peach Momoko, and it's actually got Groot on there as a baby, kind of looking cute.
I am Gert.
Yandu's daughter, right? But what was her actual name? Is it Yandra? Maybe it's Yandra.
Maybe. I am Gert.
Uh, yep. Battle Chasers #10's got quite a few.
And it's one of the books I'm actually looking forward to coming out this week.
Some of them are already sold out at the distributor level. Here's the Scotty Young cover. You can't go wrong with Scotty Young. Static Team Up Anansi #1. This one is weird because it's got the Spider-Man. This is a DC cover, but it's got the Spider-Man logo on this fucking dude right here. And I've talked about how Anansi he's an African god, but Marvel actually did freaking bring Anansi into their universe. But now they got Anansi in the DC universe.
Interesting.
If they did that on purpose, while everybody's been asking James Gunn on the intentions on doing a Marvel DC collaboration, if they did this through Anansi, that would be wow. That would be really freaking good. That would be genius.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Haunt You to the End, #1, cover B, Sozo Micah. Really, I really like this freaking cover. This is kind of like off of people's radar right now, but if you like horror, you love this freaking cover. Invincible Iron Man. There's a 1 in 100. That's that one. What if it's Mickey as Iron Man?
Oh boy.
And then the Void Rivals redacted spoiler. That's one we talked about. We talked
Yep.
about the rumors of what's going on with that one, and then that is it, sir. Um, so that's it. That's all we got for the rest for the show. Once again, I talked about what we got going on for the rest of the week. We got the How May We Help You show going on Saturday night,
Well, that's
starting around
tomorrow
10
night,
o'clock.
right?
Yep, starting around 10 o'clock. Um, I can't tell you what I've got because I haven't received any of my boxes, and I'm not even sure what I'm supposed to get this week. I have no clue. I have no clue what the fuck is showing up.
Interesting.
Um, I do know that I'm getting some of these Void Arrivals, I think, but I'm not sure when they're showing up because I got a message that they sent stuff this afternoon, but I don't think it's gonna get here by the time we do the freaking sale.
Hmm.
Um, as far as the other shows, of course, Adam's going to do his thing. Comic
I
Crusaders going
got
to do our
two
thing.
for Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Awesome Sauce Radio has two uh, great interviews lined up. God willing, everything goes through. I have uh, a psychiatrist who wrote a book called The Psychiatry of Spider-Man. And then I have
Okay.
my new adult star friend Amethyst Pearl coming on. So Tuesday night's going to be great.
Okay. Good to go.
And Wednesday, I'm going to hang out with Calamity, and we're going to recap the convention we're doing on Sunday.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. Of course, if you want more in-depth stuff regarding the FOC stuff, the Ultra Maximus, he has the Matrix, Secret Matrix coming out freaking
Yes,
soon.
the
So you're gonna,
secret variant.
yep.
I think that comes out tomorrow.
hmm Freaking, of course, rest of the Comic Crusader stuff has got coming out. Um, of course, Comic Book
He's a
Woman, we support
machine.
those guys. Yep. Clay's got some good stuff. I'm trying to get on his show so we can talk about some UFO stuff. Um, there's some weird stuff that's been coming out, and I'm gonna freaking talk to
Yeah,
that
man,
stuff.
you see all that stuff out in Vegas, man, with the UFOs?
I have. I've had seen people talk about it. Of course, because I live out in West Virginia, a lot of people. It always comes up in conversations, and everything. So it's a lot of stuff to freaking talk about.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so definitely pay attention to all those freaking channels. Once again, if you have not already subscribed to the Comic Crusader channel, please subscribe to our YouTube, our Instagram, as well as our whatnot and other things. And
Has Adam done anything with that yet? Or
for whatnot, no, he
yeah,
has not. I need to get into a meeting with
I
him
guess one of
to.
us will have to get on his candy Puerto Rican ass.
Yeah, it can be a money maker when done correctly. But yeah, so that's it. I want to go ahead and freaking drink my moonshine in peace, and we'll see you guys freaking later, and freaking just keep an eye on for everything and stay safe. Y'all just have fun.
Yep.
All right, love y'all.
Peace.
Out.
For each man in his time to take until he walks along the beach and sees his future in the water, along the pond within his reach. I haven't needed the world to want.
Sometimes men take matters into their own hands. You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
As you guys know, it is